Hi guys, welcome back to my video. This is Serial Gaming here. I haven't been active in the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia videos lately because I have been really busy, and it's definitely not because of Octopath Traveler, because the game is fun but not that fun. Anyway guys, jokes aside, the game is really good. I do highly recommend it. If you haven't started it yet, definitely go for it. It's a very worthwhile game, single player too, so you don't have to worry about competitive. Anyway, moving on forward, we'll be talking about two units that will be featured tomorrow. First of all is Caius. Caius get a little bit rework, more damage here and there, and more extended debuff on his entire kit. He has 4 turns on his Doom right now instead of just 2 turns or 3 turns with his skill 1 upgrade. So Caius entirely is actually quite a decent unit right now. He has a lot of very good HP attack in his entire kit. The re-break mechanism is still very unique, and he constantly breaking the enemy with his BT effect can actually be really good when tied with units like Gabron with his FR condition, Aranea upcoming as well with the same FR condition, Dorgun which actually follows up every time the enemy is broken, so that part is actually quite useful. Although I'm not really sure though how Caius re-break will fare with some of this character because of the fact that his re-breaks happen off turn. So Dorgun might not be countering at all if the re-breaks is happening off turn. And then I do know that Aranea condition can be fulfilled, but I'm not sure about Gabron because I haven't seen people tested it yet. Anyway, the bad part about Caius is actually the fact that he applied a lot of debuff with his kit. But then again, that may be a good thing on some stages, which is also the upcoming Transcendent 10 stage, because the boss actually requires you to apply a certain amount of debuff unless to avoid some of the mechanics that they have. Also, Caius can actually be immortal if you applied a Theodore or 9 Spear on him. The idea is that he has to apply the Doom debuff when the enemies attack him. So when the enemies perform the HP attack on him, which will then reduce his HP to 1, before his before his overhead buff kicks in, the enemy will be broken by his debuff, and then he'll heal himself up, which then will not trigger the overhead buff. So it's a little bit unique where he maintains his immortality that way, although the enemy has the debuff and has to be breakable. If you're talking about a unit like the Safer Sephiroth, which has max breathing ceiling, then it doesn't, max breathing floor, then it doesn't work. So Caius is a very good unit in my opinion right now. He has a lot of utility, and he has a very decent amount of damage output, which fares really well with the FR and Force Time HP damage bonus up. But we'll be talking about the next character here, which is Fujin. Alright, so Fujin actually gets quite a decent amount of rework as well. She can launch the enemy at will. She can allow the enemy the non-target becomes launchable on the party's turn with her EX and her skill 1, skill 2, as well as a counter that she gained right now from her EX. She always has this counter before, but the fact that the counter is always just bravery attack is kind of lackluster that way. But right now she gained 3 single target HP dumps on her counter, which is really good. The only problem behind the counter is that most of her kit actually relies on the enemies not getting a lot of turns and the party getting full turns so that she can launch the enemy while the other 2 party members join up the launches. And she also has some delays and turn manipulation in her EX and her additional ability. So that part itself is making Fujin kind of a hybrid in the on and off turn department. Personally though, I think that she fares really well in the off turn department with the 3 single target HP attack and batteries to the entire party. So that part can be really useful when you pair out with a lot of counters in your team, or if you want to use her as some sort of protection. So yeah, I think Fujin can be really good in an often team composition. But anyway, the worst part of Fujin is what turns people off is actually her FR. If you can see from here, her FR has 2 conditions. The first one is easily fulfilled by her applying Wind Enchant to the entire party. So as long as there's no elemental tied to that particular skill itself, the party will always fulfill the first condition. The problem though is the second freaking condition where she has to perform the launches by herself on her turn. And Fujin is not a turn hogger. She's not a damage dealer, she's not a turn hogger. She's a supportive unit with a lot of utility in her kit and a little bit of launches. So why give her this condition? I have no idea what the developer is smoking when they give her this one, because to be honest, this really sucks. She doesn't have a lot of turn hogging capability, so the only way to actually abuse this particular condition if you use units like Aphmau, Ram, c90, Ashe, Kain to allow Fujin to get more turns. Kain because he can launch himself up in the air, and then Fujin can just get a little bit more turns in between, especially if you run Aphmau, Kain, and Fujin in the party. Then you may abuse a little bit more on Fujin and abuse the Kain follow-up attack. But of course, like I said, it requires a very extensive setup for Fujin to actually be usable in her own FR. Like, what the hell? What the hell, actually? I'm actually quite curious to see what kind of rework she'll get down the line with the FR Echo. Hopefully, she can get a little bit more than just increasing the HP damage bonus up. If they really do increase the HP damage bonus up, they should at least increase up to 150%. Because to be honest, that really sucks. She herself is the only one that can perform the condition, which says a lot about the unit himself. But of course, upcoming units we have Luna Freya, which can be really helpful for Fujin because Luna Freya can give Fujin 3 consecutive turns. But then again, if you have Luna Freya in the party and if you have her FR, you have no reason to actually use Fujin's FR in this case. But really, moving on though, Fujin is still really good as a unit if you're not considering her FR. She has tons of utility. She has launchers, she has battery, she has turn manipulation, she has off-turn counter, and she's actually she has a very rare Wind Enchant and Imperil, which I think Bards is the only alternative for this kind of elemental. But she also has the elemental tied to the enchant and the imperil tied to her call, so that can be really useful as well. But if you're looking for a team composition that you want to use other people's FR instead of her FR, you can actually look for units like Ursula. It can help Ursula to actually fulfill her condition a lot easier. And of course, if you want to go forward into the long-term run, then you can look into units like c90's launches, c90's FR, which require launches, since Fujin launch every turn and she can allow the non-target to become launchable, so your third party member can also launch easily with this 2 in the party itself. So I think that can be also quite useful. But then again, if you're up until c90, there's no reason for you to actually use Fujin as a character. Like I said, the worst part about Fujin is definitely her FR, one of the worst FR in the game right now. And since her kit relies a lot on launches, no launch means useless Fujin. And of course, all the shit I talk about her right now is non-existent since I'm gonna pull her anyway, because guess what? She's Final Fantasy VIII from my favorite game, so I have no choice. I have to fulfill my fanboy status. Anyway guys, yeah, this is my opinion on the character. This entire banner itself, honestly, if you want to go for this banner, there's really not much reason to go for. Caius can be really good, but he requires a very loads of resources to invest into him, since if you want to use him, I would recommend going into his BT Plus to be really useful on his entire utility. Fujin, although she does have good utility, she's not really that unique or special for you to go for this banner. So I just think that this is one of the most undesirable banner in a very long time, to be honest. Dash can be a little bit more desirable because of Machina. This one is, like I said, Caius can be really good. His LD, amount of HP down from his LD is actually quite huge if you apply it on a very huge amount of HP damage bonus up. But then again, full investment really puts me off on that one. So for this banner, I highly don't recommend going for it, especially if you're a new player. For me, I have tons of resources to throw, and I definitely will have to fulfill the Final Fantasy VIII fanboy status. So yeah, I'm going in for this banner. What about you guys? Do let me know what you guys think about this character and this banner. If I recall though, I think Fujin has quite a little bit of fan right there, so I think a lot of people will still go for this banner. Although throwing unique weapon is not really the most popular one as well, so that's another way to put her off, I guess. Anyway guys, that's it about the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one tomorrow. Cheers.